Hey, glad you're back at Pocket Roni. Today we're going to be doing a standard form of the line, going from a standard form of a line to slope-intercept form of a line. As a reminder, y equals mx plus b is slope-intercept form. Y on one side, everything else on the other side. Standard form is when you have x's and y's on one side of the equal sign and whole numbers on the other side. ax plus by equals c. Your a and b are your coefficients in front of your x and y, and c is just a whole number. The one thing to know about standard form, just as a reminder, there are no fractions in standard form. You will never see fractions in standard form, okay? So again, standard form, x and y on one side of the equal sign and whole numbers on the right. Slope-intercept form, y is on one side, everything else is on the other side. So look at 9C number 10. Remember, all of these we are starting in standard form and we are going to turn them into slope-intercept form, okay? So we want to make it to where y is on one side and everything else is on the other side, which means I always recommend starting with moving your x, okay? So if I'm adding 3x, it means I need to subtract 3x from both sides. In the world of algebra, whatever you do to one side, you have to do the other side to make it balance. Okay, these x's cancel, so on the left I'm left with 2y. I cannot add x's to whole numbers, so you still write negative 3x plus 1. You can only add x's to x's and whole numbers to whole numbers. Do not lose your negative sign. Now we need to get rid of the 2 because slope-intercept form has to be y all by itself and everything else on the other side. 2y implies 2 times y. So I need to do the exact opposite of multiplication. The opposite of multiplication is division in order to get rid of the 2. So I divide by 2 because 2 divided by 2 is 1. Whatever I do to one thing, I have to do to everything, to every term. So I divide each term by 2. So on the left, my 2's cancel and I'm left with y. Don't lose your negative. You can write negative 3/2 x plus 1/2, and that is in slope-intercept form. In slope-intercept form, you can have fractions, and this just means I have a slope of negative 3/2 and have a y-intercept of 1/2, and that would be slope-intercept form. Now let's go to 9A9. Again, this is in standard form, where x and y is on one side, whole numbers on the other, and we want to change it into slope-intercept. Slope-intercept is y on one side, everything else on the other side. The first thing to always do is move your x over. Since I'm subtracting x, I need to add x in order for it to cancel. I have to do it to the other side as well. That goes away. I'm left with negative 2y equals, you cannot add x's to whole numbers, so you write your x minus 2. In slope-intercept form, your x term is written first and then your y-intercept last. I need to get rid of my negative 2 in front of my y. This is being multiplied, so I do the exact opposite of multiplication, which is division. In order for that to cancel, whatever I do to this term, I have to do to every term. My negative 2 divided by negative 2 is like a 1y. You can write 1y, or you can just write it as y. What coefficient is in front of this x? A 1. So this is like saying 1 over negative 2 or a negative 1/2 x. Because remember, a positive divided by a negative is a negative. So it's okay if this negative is just written out in front. Okay? So negative 1/2 x, a negative 2 divided by a negative 2 is a positive 1. And so that is in slope-intercept form of y equals mx plus b. Okay, now let's look at 9A8. Again, this is in standard form. X's and y's on one side, whole numbers on the other side. 0 is still a number. So I want to put it in slope-intercept form to where y is on one side and everything else is on the other side. So I move my x term over. I'm subtracting 4x, so I need to add 4x to both sides. Those cancel on the left, so I'm left with y equals, I cannot add x's to whole numbers, 4x plus 0. When you have plus 0, there's no need to write that. It's nothing. So you can just write it as y equals 4 x. And that is in slope-intercept form.